Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Well, guys, it's been a while since we've been here, and since then, Diddy was found not guilty of the racketeering, racketeering and sex trafficking charges, and found guilty of the Mann Act charges, which are the prostitution charges. Now, after that happens, of course, people are like, well, he's going to have to go to jail. Will he have to go to jail? What happened? So sentencing will happen. Today, they're having a conversation in court about when his sentencing will actually be. It's supposed to be October 3rd, but Diddy's team is asking for it to be expedited to happen as quickly as it can. The prosecution says that they're not going to fight that. They're okay with that. They just didn't want him to come home on bond until he got his sentencing, which the judge agreed with in court last week. So today we'll find out when he'll be sentenced and how soon that'll be. And that leans on the probation office. Like, they have to put together like a sentencing report. And then however long that takes, we'll know when that date is going to be.
So his charges are prostitution charges, hiring a prostitute and transporting them across state lines, correct?
Yeah, two of those.
Yeah, it's two of those, 2 counts of those. Yep, so that's what he was found guilty of. And his attorney, Mark Agnifilio, spoke to AP News, and he told AP News that when Diddy went back into jail, he got like a standing ovation from the other prisoners because he beat the federal government, and they said that they've never seen people be able to beat the government that way. And he also talked about Mark Agnifilio, Diddy's attorney, just the fact that they knew that Diddy was probably going to get off on the sex trafficking charges because how confused the jury was on the RICO, because the charges are related. So people thought that Diddy, because when they first said they were confused on that one count with the RICO, Diddy was visibly like emotional as I don't know what. And people thought that they knew something, we did it, and that he was going to be guilty on all counts. But they're saying, no, we knew when we were trying to tell him, like, yo, just hold on. This is looking good for you.
Now, the question is, so for normal people who hire a prostitute and take them off across state lines, they usually get a fine or less than a year or community service, correct?
They do?
I'm asking.
I don't know.
I think it depends.
That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I don't know all
That's what they
of
were saying. Now, when I read it, they were saying...
They?
When I read it, they said usually when people get arrested or they get charged for prostitution, they usually get a fine or they get community service or not jail time as a first-time offender.
See, I don't know about that. I know prostitutes. I don't know prostitute collectors. Like, I don't know the ones
collectors
that, or whatever
that participate in prostitution.
Yeah. Okay. I know like the actual toots. So,
I get what you're saying. I totally understand.
Well, I don't know the answer to that, Envy, but I know that the prosecutors, they were talking about up to 20 years, but of course Diddy's team is like, that's ridiculous. So
that's what the charge carries. But he's a first
time,
which sounds crazy to say, but he's a first time non-violent offender.
Correct.
So they're saying at least a minimum of 4 years based on the sentencing guidelines, and
4.
Yeah, at least
all the way from 20. That's what they was asking for, 20, right?
Because whenever you talk about sentencing their charges, they have like a maximum and a minimum.
By the way, 4 is a long time for a 55-year-old man who's used to living the high life the way Diddy has. Okay.
Yeah, he's been in there already.
Let's not act like that 4 years isn't a long time.
Yeah, he's been in it, 10 months already?
Yes.
But remember, we were talking about it earlier. Remember, OJ went to jail not for the crime. He went to jail for stealing his memorabilia back, and he got 20 years for it.
Well,
what are we talking about?
Remember because what I'm saying is, even though Diddy didn't get charged for the major crime, they can still plan him for.
OJ's crime, the stealing was a whole separate thing from.
Right, but he shouldn't have got 20 years for stealing, because most people who steal probably would have got a year for that. But he got 20 years because they wanted to stick it to OJ. So maybe they could possibly stick it to Diddy, even though
you're talking about whether the judge is going to be lenient or not. Oh.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
But what would he steal back? Like his tapes and
booty.
Like what would he steal?
What you talking about?
We're not serious enough for
the
this.
jokes ain't never stopping. I'm letting y'all know that right now.
Yo. Hey y'all, what's up? It's Loren LoRosa letting you know that when it comes to accident or injury cases, Top Dog Law is a name that you should know. Whether it's a car wreck, slip and fall, construction site injury, don't play games with your future. Top Dog Law doesn't settle for those lowball answers. They get you top dollar, period. The call is completely free and you don't pay unless you win. So call Top Dog Law today or hit them up on Instagram at Top Dog Law or visit topdoglaw.com. These are real cases. You get real results. Top Dog gets it done.
And my last question is, when Diddy comes out, what happens next?
Yeah.
That's
What
what
does-
a lot
what
of
does
people
he
have been
do next?
asking. Like,
Does he do music? Does he sign the Black Effect and do a book? Does he do a podcast?
Podcast, yeah. He's definitely got. Because we did his last interview, so will he be his first?
Here's the thing. I fear people aren't going to learn a damn thing from this Diddy situation. Like, all the conversations I'm having sound so ass backwards. Like, you can blame the system.
Right.
We could say the feds overcharged him. We could say he was railroaded. We could say it was a shakedown.
Yo,
Railroad is
yo,
crazy.
shakedown
That's what they're
is
saying. I
crazy,
mean, this is
too.
the
He
language that
doing the
they're using.
railroading.
This is the language that they're using. They're saying railroaded. They're saying it was a shakedown. But at what point are we going to have conversations about how he gave this system something to shake? Where's the conversations about accountability? Where's the conversations about discipline? Diddy made all this money, gave all these opportunities to people, created all these jobs, and it all burned down because of poor habits and lack of discipline. Drug use, violence towards women, and sleeping with prostitutes. You can't move like that when you are a black man in the position of power that Diddy was in. And I hate when people say things like, well, white men get to do this all the time. Well, guess what? We not white. Okay, we are black, and we can't and shouldn't want to move like corrupt white men do, but nobody wants to have that conversation about accountability and discipline.
And the enablers as well. Because he had to have people around him.
Yeah,
that
but
didn't-
you see how...
No, but it's
But you can't do
No, but it's a little bit of
he
everything.
can't do it all by
It's a little
himself.
bit of
So it was like a
everything.
whole
And you see how that
operation.
played out. The not all of
It's
them, but
everybody.
most people got on the stand and got immunity. The only person that they answer for something is Diddy. So I don't even think that
And the
matters.
only person you are in control of is you.
You.
When
I get
you
it.
are in that position of power, when you are a billionaire that's creating all these opportunities and creating all these jobs, you have to move better. We can blame enablers, you can blame the system and everything else, but you have to move better.
I agree.
When are those conversations going to happen?
They should be. The
Y'all not
judge,
tired of seeing, black men be put in these positions because of their own poor habits and discipline? The system is
Hell
already
yeah.
the system is
already against
already
us, yeah.
coming at us every
Definitely.
day,
Absolutely.
making up stuff. Why are we giving them anything?
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially when you see his kids sitting in court and just have to, like, the fact that he could have been facing up to life. I used to think about that every day. Like, these kids are sitting here, and that's their dad at the end of the day.
That's right.
But the judge tried to have that conversation, though. When the judge said,
Their dad knew he had kids.
exactly.
Their dad knew he had people that depend on him. You know what I
But they're
mean?
still his kids, though.
Sure.
it's
So if you
like-
know you got kids, that's just all the more reason to move better.
Yeah, nah, you're
we
right.
gotta move correctly.
You're right, but sometimes I think a lot of these celebrities or these people with a lot of money sometimes have the God syndrome, and they feel like they are God, and you can't beat
yeah.
them. And I got enough money that if it does, I can buy it away. And they realize that they can't.
Well, the
Well,
judge
God
is
will
trying
humble
to.
you.
The judge is trying to humble and tame that big, because that's why he denied that bond. He said, "No, these are all the things you did, even after you knew that we were going to be sitting right here together. You going to stay where you at until we figure out the sentencing."
All right. Well, that is the latest
when you
from
ask what Diddy should do if he comes home, he should do the work on himself. That's what he should be doing. He should be going to do some deep, intense therapy. He needs to find God. That's what he needs to be doing. He shouldn't be worried about no career. He shouldn't be worried about trying to get back professionally. He should be focusing on his personal life. That's what he should be doing.
Well, let's discuss after front page news. We'll take your phone calls 800-585-1051. I mean, we missed you guys last week, and of course Diddy was found guilty of 2 charges. 2 charges were dropped. What are your thoughts? The conversation we just had about Diddy and him coming home and what happened and how he allowed that to happen to him.
Yes, he did that. He just
He did it to himself. 800-585-1051. Let's discuss.
You said 2 charges were dropped.
Oh, 3 charges were dropped.
Yeah, not guilty on 3 out of 5.
All right, 3 charges were dropped. We'll do it after front page news, so don't go anywhere. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.